Hey yo everyone! I was in the middle of editing my worst game of the year video when this article popped up and completely threw me in a tizzy. Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PlayStation this spring. To my PlayStation friends, congrats. This is a great game that I'm sure you'll have a ton of fun with. For my Xbox friends, take a seat, let's have a talk. It's no secret that Xbox is in a weird spot right now. They can't really compete with Sony or Nintendo's hardware sales, and they seem to be giving up on making any console exclusives. This has got a lot of people worried. What's next for Xbox? Will Microsoft give up producing consoles? There are a lot of questions floating around about what the future entails for the Xbox brand. So today, I want to talk about this crazy idea I have to save Xbox, like the hardware itself. This is just an idea I have. There's no real reporting anywhere indicating that this is something that Microsoft is taking into consideration. So just sit back and try to enjoy my crazy theory. It's gonna get a little weird, but just try to be patient. Anyway, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Alright, let's get it. Alrighty, let's start with Forza. To me, the Forza franchise is one of the pillars of the Xbox brand. These games are genuine system sellers, which is why I think the move to PlayStation feels so different this time around. The other Xbox ports were from franchises or studios that have already had a history with PlayStation, such as Bethesda or Activision games. But the Forza franchise has always been exclusive to Xbox. In my opinion, Forza, Gears of War, Fable, and of course, Halo are the four pillars that the Xbox brand is built on. To see one of those franchises launch on PlayStation is weird, to say the least. Unfortunately, I think this is probably just the beginning of Xbox staples making their way to PlayStation and other platforms. There have already been rumors that Starfield and Halo the Master Chief Collection will launch on PlayStation later this year. Oh, seeing my friends on PlayStation playing a Halo game might give me an existential crisis. Look, the PlayStation 5 has been dominating this generation of console sales. The Series X and S have been selling decently well, but not even close to the numbers the PS5 is putting up. So if you're Xbox or Microsoft, you're looking at this and wondering what the heck you can do to drive up revenue. If no one is buying your consoles, then no one will be buying those console exclusives. Thus, abandoning the exclusives is the only way for the company to make a profit, especially with how expensive video game development is these days. I know you're probably thinking, well, duh, this has been a trend for a couple years now. So does this mean that Microsoft is giving up on making exclusives entirely? Maybe. It's not like Xbox hasn't been trying to win gamers over. They've put a lot of money into making Xbox a powerhouse of IPs. Unfortunately, the IPs they put money into have failed to bring in any new customers. So instead of just dumping more money into struggling franchises, Xbox decided to just buy more successful IPs. Minecraft, Bethesda, and most recently, Activision. Despite owning these insanely popular companies, Xbox has kind of failed to utilize them in a way that would bring more gamers to their platform. Minecraft and all of its new updates still launch at the same time on every platform. Bethesda games are still releasing on PlayStation. Call of Duty, one of the most profitable gaming franchises ever, hasn't really been used in a way that elevates Xbox status among gamers. Yes, you could argue that the day one Game Pass launches made great use of these IPs, and honestly, you're right. But since these games aren't actual exclusives, PlayStation users have no reason to even really consider switching to Xbox. I mean, I truly believe that Game Pass is the best deal in gaming by a long shot, but it doesn't make up for the exclusives that Sony has on their platform. So going back to Xbox giving up on exclusives, I don't know. Love him or hate him, Phil Spencer has been doing a pretty solid job of driving revenue for Microsoft. Not necessarily Xbox. Now I know what you're thinking, Party Panda, what do you mean? Microsoft owns Xbox. Phil Spencer is the CEO of Xbox. How could he be making Microsoft money without making money for Xbox? Let me break it down for you. Yes, Microsoft owns Xbox. Therefore, Xbox is Microsoft. But Microsoft is not Xbox. I know this is a weird word salad, but hear me out. Phil Spencer's job is to make Microsoft money, which he has through studio acquisitions and the explosion of Game Pass subscribers. Unfortunately, this method has emphasized Game Pass and games instead of Xbox. all of these super successful games are launching on PC and PlayStation. This is great for sales, which of course is great for Microsoft, but it's not really doing anything for Xbox, the console itself. So yes, thanks to Game Pass and Call of Duty, Microsoft's game revenue is way up, but if you were to just look at the hardware sales, you never would have guessed that. Like I said earlier, there's no real reason for a PlayStation user to switch to Xbox because all of those great games are making their way to PlayStation anyway. There's also one other hurdle that Xbox would have to get past in order to truly compete with PlayStation again: digital sales. Phil Spencer has mentioned it before, but unfortunately, Xbox lost the most important generation to lose, the PS4, Xbox One generation. This is the generation where digital games exploded in popularity. Instead of buying a physical copy, you could just download the game you wanted and have it readily available at basically all times. The caveat is that these games are attached to your profile, so if you bought a bunch of games on PlayStation, then you're not going to suddenly jump ship to Xbox and lose access to that backlog. So even if Xbox has a massively successful game, there's still a pretty decent chance that PlayStation users won't switch over. Sadly, the era of flip-flopping between different systems appears to be over. Okay, so that was really negative for Xbox. I just laid out a bunch of problems they'd have to overcome to even be competitive with PlayStation. So what can they realistically do to try and sway over some of those gamers? Well, here's my crazy idea. Kill the Xbox. Wait, before you hit dislike and leave an angry comment, hear what I have to say first. As we already established earlier, Xbox is owned and operated by Microsoft. Microsoft, who is also the world's leading software producer for PC operating systems. So, what if instead of trying to make the Xbox the superior console, they instead focused on making Xbox the most accessible gaming PC ever? Picture this, the next Xbox is announced and it'll launch with Windows 11. You can use it as a genuine gaming PC. Of course, not everyone wants to deal with the intricacies of PC gaming, so the Xbox will run a traditional Xbox OS by default, or something that is very similar to what the current Xbox is running. The difference here being that this new Xbox will have access to games that are available on PC. Now, I don't know how the actual setup would work, but I think if they could come up with a console that supports PC storefronts and games, they would completely flip the industry on its head. Imagine if Steam was somehow implemented directly into the new Xbox, something that Phil Spencer has openly said he's interested in. I mean, tons and tons of Steam games already have controller support, and Microsoft certainly has the resources to make an Xbox run more like a PC than any other company. Look, I know this sounds crazy, but I genuinely think this could work. Stop trying to win this console war that you already have clearly lost, and instead, build a PC that acts like a console. Think about it. All of a sudden, casual gamers will have access to thousands of previously PC exclusive games. Microsoft understands the requirements for PC gaming, so why couldn't they make it work on an Xbox? Sure, it would probably be a loss in hardware production, but it would certainly make that money back with new customers and game licensing. Who wouldn't want a decent gaming PC that is being sold at the price of a traditional video game console? You pair that with Game Pass, and all of a sudden, you're gonna have a backlog that's a mile wide. Access to Steam, Epic, Game Pass. What else could you ask for? Essentially, this would just be the next step in what feels like Xbox's current trajectory anyway, focusing more on being a platform rather than the end-all be-all console. And the real kicker? Just like Xbox, PlayStation has been porting over some of their games to other platforms, just not Xbox itself. So, if Xbox was somehow able to integrate Steam into its next console, you could realistically play PlayStation games on Xbox. Now, maybe Sony would find a way to block that from happening, but I'm not quite sure how that would work since the Xbox would basically just be running Steam through Windows. I guess the whole point of this video is to say that Xbox should focus on becoming more PC-like than console-like. Besides Valve, they're the company best suited to create a console that has these capabilities. Look, I know that this is highly unlikely, but I can't think of any other way Xbox could actually compete with PlayStation's hardware sales. Sure, this new ideology of everything being an Xbox is great for Game Pass, but if Microsoft truly wants to remain in the console wars, then they're gonna have to reinvent themselves in a meaningful way. I don't know, maybe this is just all a stupid idea, but it popped into my head and I couldn't stop thinking about it, so Thanks for listening to my jumbled thoughts anyways. If you made it to the end of this video, thanks for watching. I genuinely really want to know what you guys think about all of this. Did my explanation make sense? Do you think this could even work? If you're on PlayStation, what could Xbox possibly do to persuade you to switch over? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It means a lot. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll catch you in the next one.